Hello everyone, South Witch here coming to you with a video. I just uploaded my Beltane full flower moon video. I mentioned that video I would make a video of the house emptied out, so here we go. I made a lot of videos in this house in 2 years since I started my channel. I've showed my trees and my life-size witches and things that I've made. So I'm going to do a quick video of the house emptied out. It's still got a few things in it, but not much. Getting closer to the closing date. This tree has been in videos before, I do believe. This is Kelly Ray, my granddaughter Kelly Ray's tree. She was born on July the 5th. So I made this tree with her in mind. And of course, we love the black trees. There's my Halloween Samhain tree. Did this one for her. Got it out now, had it out a little early because during the move, probably by the time I get down there and get set back up, Memorial Day will be over. So I'll be pushing more toward having it, set back up in my new place, hopefully by 4th of July. Love it, love it, love it. Still not happy with some of the things on it. I add to it every year. I do all of them. When they start putting this stuff out in the stores, I buy new things for it. Love the red, white, and blue lights. There you go. That's my Memorial Day Kelly Ray / 4th of July tree. The house. This room had carpet in it. This was my sister's room. I tore the carpet out and was going to stain the floor. Tore the carpet out and stained the floor in my room. Just never got around to it. I was overwhelmed. I painted the house in 2024 when it was still full of everything. Things just kind of went down weird. My sister went in the nursing home and she was on hospice. I knew she would never live to come back to the house. And the house has been mine since 2013. My sister never had children and both of her husbands passed away in the 70s. And then her and Bruce got together. They lived together for 30 years, and then they split up. But the house and everything was already in her name before they split up. So it was given to me when our dad passed away in 2013. And I didn't get it legally signed over and everything till right before my sister passed away in 22, which at that point I knew I had to get it signed over. So it's all been a process, and then I started working on it. We have my purple door, which means a witch lives here. If you're into the craft, you know that. Or you're a witch, you know that. So when my sister, I knew she wasn't coming back, I started trying to make it a little bit more about my own place because everything in here was hers. And of course, done up, she lived here for 30 years. Her and Bruce actually built this. It was a burned out double wide trailer. It was a custom built double wide, so it was one of the biggest double wides made in its particular day, so to speak. And a man fell asleep in the bed with a cigarette, and it caught on fire. It smoked through the whole entire ceiling, basically, more than it burned any of the walls because the fire department got it put out. But to make a long story short, the man, the insurance company paid him off, and he just left and moved, and the owner of the land had took it apart and, it comes in two pieces and wrapped it all up and just parked it in a field. And my sister and Bruce bought it and they moved it over here and bought the lot. And they lived in a single wide while they were working on it. So they traded a lot of the work out. They put on siding, so they did put the siding and everything on it. They traded work like, you do my sheetrock, I'll come put the siding on your house. So it took them a few years of working on it before they could finally move in it, but everything was paid for. They didn't owe nothing on it when they were done, which is an awesome way to build a house. Well, then they had 5 acres. They put the single wide across from us over here and set it up and rented it out to my other sister Patty and her husband Eddie. Well, then my sister Patty passed away in 13, the same year as my dad passed away. I say my dad because it wasn't their dad, it was their stepdad. Actually, he was my uncle. He wasn't even my dad, but that was my dad. Family's family, regardless of the blood. They were actually my cousins. I was raised by my aunt and uncle. But I'm getting off topic here. But anyway, Patty passed away, and then Eddie lived there, and then finally he had to be put in a nursing home. And so then my sister rented the trailer out, and then it burnt, the single wide, and we had every reason to believe that the people that lived in it burned it. But she didn't have insurance on it, so it was a total loss. So then she just sold the property. So it went from 5 acres down to like 2.4. But yeah, they worked on this place for a few years. So you see, when you look around in here, if you've been in a normal double wide trailers, this does not look like a double wide on the inside because it was completely gutted. When they came in, when they got it over here and set up and put back together, there was nothing but the outside shell left. They went through and ripped out all the walls. And totally, the floor plans and everything got totally changed around. And they didn't have children, so they didn't need 4 bedrooms. So it went from a 4-bedroom down to a 2-bedroom. Here's Vader. He don't feel good today. He has a fever. Bless his heart. I'm not really sure what's going on with him, but there's no, he's not up running around, so he don't feel good. Bless his heart. We got to get your medicine for him. Yes, I doctor on my pets. Being a witchy person and being old school country, we try to heal myself and my pets before we go to professionals, so to speak, because I really don't like them people. Don't like doctors and veterinarians, but it gets to where I can't do anything myself, or I've done everything I can do and tried everything, then, you know, we seek professional help. But I may give him some ice to chew on, should help with his fever. His nose is hot, so I know he's got a fever. The fireplace, back to the video, the fireplace my dad built, it is a real wood-burning fireplace. My dad built it for him as a moving-in present. My dad was a bricklayer, and so was my 3 brothers. If you know me, you know that. These brick were actually left from the Amoco station in Dixon that was built, wow, probably 40 years ago. And we had some left, and the contractor just gave them to my dad, so they were in the field behind the house for years, and I guess waiting for this, because this became the perfect project to use them for. That's why the shiny finishes on them. You can see my candles and money bowl and things up there. My sister put gas logs in it instead of wood. They didn't want to smoke up the new house with wood because, you know, if you've ever had wood heat, it does smoke up your house, and you get the smoke stain on your walls and ceilings, and then you smell like wood smoke, your clothes and everything. So they put gas logs in it, but then they never really used it. I guess it was difficult paying a light bill and a gas bill, especially just for gas logs. So I can understand that aspect of it. And I kept it covered up because a lot of cold air comes through it down from this chimney, even though there's a piece of metal over the top of it. I just kept it closed off. I finally took the plywood off because it's sold. The vinyl's shot after 30 years. Yeah, it needs to be re-vinyled. The window here was cracked from a weed eater and a rock. You can see there's some light spots of the paint. I just really got overwhelmed with trying to paint it all and move everything. When everything was still in it, I'd had to move it all to one side and paint and then move it back. And had I known she was going to pass away when she did, I would have just waited until I could move everything out to paint it. But I didn't know, and, you know, it was what it was. I was just trying to make it, again, a little more my own place. So I painted the doors. My sister smoked. I was saying she was Chief Wahooing up in here. She smoked 2 packs a day for 30 years, so the walls were just, when you would remove a picture, you could, you know, see where the picture was, and everything else was brown nicotine. The ceiling here was actually a big brown spot where she'd sit. The whole 30 years she sat in the same spot. She never opened the windows up, so it never got to air out. Oh yeah, I'll give a full view of my video here, in my video here of my altar that I did. Just did it in a video. Yeah, the tote, their tub, whatever you will, is to put my tree in. I am trying to move the trees without taking everything off of them, which might end up being a disaster. Let's hope not, but just don't have the time to take them all apart and then have to put them all back together. Because again, I add to them every year. You see they're full of ornaments, all of them. Had a refrigerator leak, ice maker line in the wall, so I had to tear the floor out. At that point, I just didn't have the money to replace the vinyl, and I knew I was going to sell the house anyway when my sister passed, so I had a rug over it. So yeah, I got a big ugly spot there in the floor. Yeah, my cat litter box. Houdini stinky box. Pantry. It had shelves and things in it. Of course, I've slowly moved everything out. I've spent a year now that this house has been up for sale, slowly emptying it out and down to just a few things here. It's still 3 weeks before it closes, but it's supposed to close early. My daughters, as well as my nieces, I messaged all of them before I started. Hey, come and get anything you want. Come walk through the house. If there's anything you want of your Aunt Vicky's, or if there's something you had bought her for a holiday or birthday or something and you want it back, come and get it. Well, my nieces, everybody has busy lives and a lot going on. I've said that in a lot of videos, so none of them had time to come and look. My oldest daughter, Eden Ray, she picked a couple things out and I took them to her. Well, this cabinet was running over, so to speak, with dishes. My sister had gobs and gobs of dishes in it. Well, they're all in the 4 boxes there in the tote. That's the glass shelves out of it. My daughter Mariah asked for it, so I packed all of her dishes up, and it's good for her to come and get. I've been trying to get her to come and get it for a year now, and of course it's still sitting here. However, I have let her know, come and get this cabinet. I have to move twice. I have to put everything in my sheds to be out of here on the closing date. Then get down there, get my new lot cleaned up, and then start moving. I have 3 weeks after my closing date to get my sheds and stuff off of the property. And my sheds are full. I do not have room for this cabinet. So if she can't come and get it, I'm going to have to take it to Goodwill or put it on Marketplace at the last minute and try to sell it or something, because I just don't have room for it. It's cool. It lights up. It's got 3 lights in it. It's really pretty when you get all the dishes in it and, turn on the light. I mentioned smoking, and my sister's smoking in here, which I smoke, and I burn sage and I burn incense. So buyers that had a problem with the house that being smoked in, you can keep walking, because I'm sorry, this one's had all of that. But I had to paint the doors black because for some reason, the nicotine kept bleeding back through the doors on the antique white. And then I did some white, like in the hallway. 3 and 4 coats and the nicotine was still bleeding back through. But once I put the black on there, it did not come back through. So that's why the doors are black. The big spacious kitchen. Wow, ladies, you can never have enough cabinet space. So she had plenty, and of course every one of them was crammed plumb full. Again, I've spent the whole 7 years really that I've lived here moving slowly, cleaning out cabinets and closets and things before I got to the actual cleaning the house out. So, wow, I've worked. I really have. I've got a lot of work into this place and painting it and unpacking it and cleaning it and, and then packing stuff. And then after a year waiting on the house to sell, I had unpacked, got my Halloween stuff back out. Wow, I moved all my Halloween stuff twice. And living in a camper, moving into a camper or a tiny house, I'm not going to have room for everything. After moving out of this 2,700 square foot house into a little camper, I'm solely going to depend upon my sheds and my shop and garage, if you will, for all this stuff, my trees and things. The tree is my holiday tree or my Samhain tree. I've got to go to the UPS store and get a bigger box to put it in. I could not find a box big enough to put it in to move it. And I'm just wrapping like contractor bags over them. And that way, if anything falls off during the move, it falls down into the box. It doesn't hit the ground, so it doesn't get lost. The skeleton doesn't stay. I just hung him on there. He was on the wall. This is Houdini's bed. I've left it for the last minute because that's where Houdini's sleeping right now. Well, not, of course, right this second, but, all my witchy stuff here. Part of my apothecary. My Indian corn. Yes, I got to plant my Indian corn when I get moved. And my black salt. My bay leaves. First of the month, burn my bay leaves. Witches, you know that. Witch people, burn your bay leaves first of the month. The big room out here was added some years later. You see it never got finished out. Bruce had gotten an inheritance when his mother passed away. They didn't need anything. They had RV, they had cars, trucks, the house, everything was paid for. So they decided to take the inheritance money and add a room on. But actually, my sister wanted a screened-in room. Just a room with screens where they could go out and smoke and sit, and they wouldn't have to worry about the bugs and things. And my brother, I'll call him names, convinced him that no, he should add an addition to the house because it would make the value of the house go up. Well, him and my sister got in a huge fight, and that's why the room never got finished out. So it was very fortunate for me that it wasn't finished, because when I first moved over here in 2018, when Mother sold the farm, I had nowhere to put my stuff, and I had a lot. This room was full of all my Halloween stuff. The door was nailed shut. There was not any steps. Yeah, the cats knocked the plywood over. My coffin was literally right here in front of the steps, and you had just enough room to get from that door into this door, which I had a block here. I have steps now. But yeah, this whole room was piled full of all of my stuff and some of my mom's stuff from the house and things. So it was a blessing to me to have room to store all of my stuff at the time. When now, of course, it's in the sheds, and I eventually moved it into my room. Step down here. The steps. I added the steps. Me and my mom paid for the steps. And it just became home after 30 years of the farm. And I would tell people, if you come to see my mom and sister, you come to the front door. If you come to see me, you come around back, because I literally lived in the back here, going in and out the back door. Don't look at my room. It's a mess right now. Houdini's sleeping on my bed. But yeah, I'd stained the floor in here, and I was going to stain the other one, just never got around to it. You see Vader's chewing on my floor. He's eating my house. This room is just a little bit smaller than the other room, the master bedroom. But yeah, this has been my life, looking at empty walls and an empty house for a year now, and glad it's sold. Glad it's about over. Still a long road to hoe, being southern speaking there. Still a long way to go to get to my new place. And you see that's where the fish tank was at when I painted, so I did not move the fish tank out to paint behind it, which I gave it to a friend. You see some light spots on the walls too. I was just exhausted, but this was the last room I painted, and by the time I got to this room, I was just had enough. Here's my pumpkin I've showed in videos. It just started to turn black here this week, so I'm going to take it out and go ahead and cut it open and get the seeds out. I've said in videos you can save your pumpkins, and I'd save this one for seeds. And yeah, from October of last year to April of this year, it's been fine in the house. The pumpkin's dying. It's pumpkin funeral time, if you will. Yeah, this is the laundry room. Yeah, you can see it's kind of junked up right now. I'm trying to move and get out of here. It's going to be hard living in a camper or a tiny house after being in this big house. I know. I've already thought about this. Trust me. But this house is too much. I'm one of those clean freak people, neat freaks, and it wears me out trying to keep it swept and mopped and dusted, and even with nothing in it. And then the pet hair is a constant battle. So I'm tired. I'm ready for something smaller. But I've been here 7 years, and my sister was here 30-something years. So let's hope the new people enjoy it, and as much as we did. I'm sure they're going to put their own touch on it and change things around and do things to it. That's all part of it. I had to redo the porch last year. Just put plywood over it. It had big holes in it. The yard, I haven't been mowing because I have a push mower, and this is a big yard. And to hell with it. Now that it's sold, it's somebody else's problem. I mowed a little bit the other day, just right around the porch here, the front porch and around the back porch. A couple hours and I was done with it. Oh, you're up and moving around. I'm glad you feel better. Or you're acting like you feel a little bit better. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in one more time to watch my content and my latest content. I say that a lot in videos. I know I tend to get windy and talk a lot, and you have to really be a fan or really want to know what I'm talking about sometimes to stay for some of the longer videos. Like this one's 20 minutes long. But I did want to show the house emptied out because, again, I made lots of videos in every room, and holidays and full moons and turn of the wheel of the year and my altars and my trees and decorations. And so I just thought, wow, let everybody see it now that it's emptied out. It's been a long, hard road and a lot of work. Love the ceiling. They had just started doing this style of texturing ceilings 30 years ago whenever my sister and them did this house, so I love that swirl look. I hate that I painted it because it's no longer the sheetrock. It's actual paint on it now, but it is what it is. Again, it was so nicotine stained, I didn't have a choice. And the lights, wow, there was plenty of lights. There was plenty of plugs. You know, the old houses didn't have enough plugs, so they made real sure when they done this house that it had enough plugs. I hate to think of what they spent on the wire, which was not that high back then compared to now. Wow. Yeah, and you see spots on the wall where I went back and with sheetrock mud and fixed, because after I painted it, I hung pictures back up and everything, and then when I started taking the pictures down, I went back and mudded the holes. And so, yeah, it really needs to be painted again. I'm sure these people are going to move in and I guess work on it after they move in, kind of like I was doing, you know, working on it while I was living in it, or while it's occupied. Enjoy the full moon, everybody. Make your moon water, do your sex spells, sex magic spells, whatever spells you're going to do. Take your videos of it. Enjoy it. I will do my table and moon video later on tonight. I look forward to seeing everybody in my next video. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. Thank you for tuning in one more time, and namaste, everyone.